Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We have a great show in store for you. We're focusing on Chameleon, a talk about Herbie Hancock, the iconic Herbie Hancock. Before we get into that, I want to let you know that this series is part of the TD Bank Jazz Series. So we want to thank TD Bank, and it's co-presented by both NJPAC, New Jersey Performing Arts Center, and Jazz Standard. So we thank all of them for their support of our program tonight. And I'm really looking forward to talking to these two amazing musicians we have. So James Genus was born in Hampton, Virginia. He began on guitar at age 6 and switched to bass at 13 years old. He then studied later at Virginia Commonwealth University, where he studied under jazz great, pianist great, Ellis Marsalis, who is the father, of course, of Branford, Wynton, and Delfeayo, and Jason Marsalis. He received a degree in jazz studies. He later moved to New York and played and recorded since on both acoustic and electric bass with some of the most major jazz artists and names in jazz and beyond, including David Sanborn, Bob James, Chick Corea, Wynton Marsalis, Dave Douglas, and of course, Herbie Hancock, and so many others. He can, of course, be heard and seen weekly on Saturday Night Live, playing in the Saturday Night Live band. Join me in welcoming James Genus now to our program.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, James.
How are you
Great
doing?
to see you.
Good to see you too.
Oh, man.
Always a pleasure.
Too long.
Yes.
Too long.
Definitely
All right.
6 or 7 months, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hard to believe. Starting out on vocals and percussion, Lionel Loueke picked up the guitar at age 17. After his initial exposure to jazz in Benin, where he was originally born, he left to attend the National Institute of Art in nearby Ivory Coast. In 1994, he left Africa to pursue jazz studies at the American School of Modern Music in Paris, then went to the US on a scholarship to Berklee College of Music. After graduating from Berklee College of Music, Lionel Loueke was accepted to the Thelonious Monk Institute in Los Angeles, where he had the opportunity to study with his great mentors like Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, and Terence Blanchard. Soon after his time at the Monk Institute, Lionel began focusing exclusively on nylon string guitar, an instrument on which he's developed a signature voice. Lionel released his first album, In a Trance, in 2005, and then 3 albums on the Oblique Sound label as a leader. He subsequently then released on Blue Note label, Caribou, in 2008, featuring the trio with Hancock and Wayne Shorter as special guests, which won widespread critical acclaim. In 2015, Lionel chose to record Gaia, I hope I'm saying that right, his remarkable rock-influenced 4th Blue Note album, live in the studio with an intimate audience in attendance. Loueke has appeared on numerous standout recordings such as Terence Blanchard's Grammy-nominated Flow, Herbie Hancock's Grammy-winning River, the Joni Letters. Lionel appeared on recordings by such legends as Jack DeJohnette, Charlie Haydn, Kenny Barron, Gonzalo Rubalcaba. He's also appeared on recordings by Esperanza Spalding, Joe Lovano, and so many others. He has toured the world as a member, like James Genus, of Herbie Hancock's band for more than 10 years now, and has also been touring with Chick Corea recently as well. So Lionel Loueke is also a member of Blue Note's 75th anniversary all-star band with Robert Glasper, Derek Hodge, Kendrick Scott, Ambrose Akimasiri, and Marcus Strickland. So now it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the program Lionel Loueke.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Oh, my brothers.
Great to see you, Lionel.
Brothers from another mothers. Miss you guys, man.
What time is the lobby call?
Oh, what time is the lobby call? Have you seen James?
I was just going to ask you, you set yourself up. Who's usually having a call? Who to get down?
Exactly.
Because the bus or the train or the plane's going to leave.
No, we had the road manager. Have you seen James? Oh, man, great to see you, bro.
You too.
Yeah. Well, I think we had talked that bass players can get away with that because there aren't as many bass players as there are other
Exactly.
instrumentalists.
Especially good ones.
I'm always there, but he never seems to find me though.
Yeah.
Have you seen James? Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, so thank you for both being a part of this and for your willingness to also discuss Herbie Hancock. And I failed to mention at the outset, which I should have said, that Lionel's latest recording, which we're going to talk about too here tonight, is entitled HH, not surprisingly, for his mentor Herbie Hancock, which was just released on Edition Records. And it's a beautiful recording. If you haven't heard it yourself yet, I urge you to pick up a copy and check it out. And again, we'll be talking about that further tonight. So how did you each first become aware of Herbie Hancock's music?
Well, should I start?
Oh, feel free. Yes, I should have said go ahead. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was back home in Africa, in Benin, West Africa. I remember my older brother was playing in a band called Coxis. My brother was a guitar player. He still plays guitar, but he's a banker now. So.
Okay.
And they used to play Chameleon and Cantaloupe Island, So those were the first two Maestro Herbie's tune that I learned, I heard, and then I learned later. So believe it or not, even in Africa, we learn Herbie's music.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I heard. Actually, I was dancing on rockets, break dancing, turning on my head. My mom in the corner was like, "Oh, my son, you're going to break your back. What is this? What kind of dance is this?"
Wow.
And I had no idea it was, rocket was Herbie's, music. I had no clue, I found out later. So.
For me, it was hearing the music from old, as a young musician, hearing older musicians play the classics of Herbie, not knowing what they were, but just I remember hearing them a lot, and also listening to Miles when I was a teenager, but not knowing that, because it was, it was a lot of cassette tapes at the time. So a lot of music that I listened to or heard or got a hold of was on cassettes, and they would just put Miles or something like that. So I knew it was Miles, but I didn't know, who the other musicians were, and the same, and the same connection with Wayne Shorter, because Wayne Shorter was there, and then I heard, recordings of Weather Report, and then found out, the connection with with Wayne, Weather Report, then back to Miles. But the first time that I actually saw Herbie was a teenager, the same thing with Rocket, and that was MTV. And at the time, MTV had just started, and there were only a few artists that were in rotation, and he was one of them, video rotations. Yeah. So they had, at that time, MTV was just all types of music, and, rock, what do they call it? Like all types. Yeah. Just it was the gamut. But
hair bands.
One of the artists was trying to think of like all these different artists that would, but it was only like about 10 or 15 like that were in constant rotation, and Herbie was one of them. And I was like, man, who's this dude? Oh, this is Herbie. And Rocket, and just the whole video and that whole thing was just like, wow, that's amazing. And that was the first time.
Yeah. Likewise, I came to Herbie's music as a musician myself, and Chameleon. That probably was the first thing I heard people play, because that was ubiquitous at a jam session and stuff like that too. So I'm curious, Lionel, in growing up in Benin, Did you have MTV there? Did you see the
No, no,
videos
no.
early, or you was
Oh
no?
no, no. Back then was black and white TV
Yeah,
that only work from noon to 2 p.m. and then 8 p.m. for the news to I think 11 or midnight, and that's it.
right.
And the weekend, then they have cartoons for kids start from 10 a.m. on Saturday,
Right.
Sunday, but the same schedule pretty much.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
MTV, no.
Right.
Was
So that,
local music mostly, most of the
yeah,
time.
yeah. So how, Lionel, I don't know if you met Herbie prior to the Thelonious Monk Institute, or is that where you first came to meet Herbie in person? And
Yes, yes. It was during the audition at the
was that
Monk.
intimidating?
God, man. I wasn't alone. We were all intimidated. But, I mean, for me especially, Herbie Hancock, it's just a name you hear on the radio because they're passing a tune from this album. You just hear friend musicians just talking about him. That's all. I mean, I always say there's two type of dreams. Two type of dream. I don't know.
Yeah.
Correct me if
Dreams.
my English.
Two types of dreams.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're right. You're right.
So, two types. One is that you work hard because you're dreaming about it, and you think. I mean, you're just dreaming, but you work hard, and maybe you get it. The other one is it doesn't matter how hard you work, it's just a dream. you know. So for me, meeting Herbie the same day, I met Herbie, Wayne, Terrence.
Wow.
All three as judge panel for the audition. I mean, I never forget that moment. It's and the other question was, okay, what you gonna play in front of these guys? I mean, there's three guys sitting there. It's almost like, oh yeah, what you got?
Yeah.
I mean,
But then they end up fighting over you, right? Who's going to get
you? No, actually, it was. I mean, I was nervous. We were all nervous. I remember I was. I think Gretchen or I was the last one. We were waiting. It was a lot of people passing. I was there in the morning. Never forget, it was the Sunday morning.
Wow.
And people just passed by. A musician will go in the room, you come back, you come out, and that's. So by the time I get there, it was just Gretchen and I, last two. So I get in the room, and of course, the reason I stayed there from the morning is I want to hear. Somebody else will be like, I don't want to hear whatever the other guys are doing, but I wanted to hear, if I have to go home before the audition. So sorry, I'm at the wrong place. Sorry. so I waited until my turn. I got it. It was Carl Allen. I think he was playing drums. I think it was Bob Hurst. I mean, just the rhythm section was already killing. So I walk in and Herbie said, "Yeah, play Footprints." I was like, "Oh man, Footprints." Okay. So I said, "Can I play an intro, please?" And Herbie, yeah. But the other guys, they didn't say anything because, I mean, I guess they were all tired. So, but the reason I said that was, because I listened to the other guys, nobody play intro to any tune. Why? Because everybody was nervous. You just want to do your thing,
Right.
and get out. So I say, you know what? Before I went in I get in the room, I was telling myself, listen, you go there, be yourself. You can't show these guys anything. They don't know. You just have to be yourself, and if they like it, well, that's good. If they don't, well, at least you had a chance to play in front of those three, you know.
Right.
So that was my state of mind, and after I finished the tune, they all start clapping, you know. I was like, whoa, okay, it makes me feel better because I was shaking, you know.
Right.
And
Wow.
when Shorter stand up, he stood up, he said, I told you guys I'm from Africa. This is my brother.
Wow.
You know. And then they asked me to play something else. I have to do like a short interview.
Right.
And Herbie said, well, you know, it would be good to have just take Lionel in my band and we forget about the program, you know. And the director of the program, he said, oh no, he's here for, you know. So I said he said I'm here to study for sure, you know.
Right.
And that's what I did. I stayed there for 2 years and got a chance to meet and play with Herbie or Wayne once a while. So one of the greatest experience in my life.
So how was that learning? I mean, in that situation, that's a unique situation because you were in this program where you were studying with Herbie and then obviously later playing in his band, which he obviously called at your audition, which is very interesting. He was patient too. He waited 2 years. He waited for you to finish the program. What was the experience of being able to learn directly from him in that quote school environment first versus then on?
Well, it's the first thing for me was how comfortable he make you feel right away. You know, it's because I don't know. I don't know about you, James, but for me, I was like, man, this is Herbie Hancock. I mean, you know, but the guy just make me feel relaxed, just like Terrence. Actually, I played with Terrence before I joined Herbie's band, and I mean, I remember the first gig, I was nervous. Even after many years, you know, I remember the first 2-3 years, I was asking him once a while, man, is there anything I could do? I could help the music because, you know, he's a type of musician. You know, I remember he told me once, you know, you hire somebody. You don't hire somebody to tell them how to play. They're supposed to play, you know.
Yeah,
and that was it, man.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, no, sorry to interrupt. I was telling Seth earlier, and he was asking me about, you know, does Herbie, you know, does he talk about music or does he talk about playing or what to play or whatever? And I said, I think he said, you know, I was saying to him, I think he said one time, you know, that he could remember that Miles actually talked about music, and I was telling him that it was an intro that he played into a ballad, and Miles was kind of saying in his own way that he was playing too much for the intro. He said it was amazing in the Miles way. He was saying it's amazing, but you know, could you try another way? You know, don't play all that stuff and play, you know, and do the intro when it's just a ballad. You know, make it simple and, you know, go to the point. And, you know, and then Herbie, it was a classic intro, and then Herbie did that, and that was the way that, you know, Miles wanted him to do, but that was the only direction. But then I was saying, with that, back it up. And he said, and that was kind of his approach. That's kind of been his approach with you, with me, with the people in the band. It's kind of like, if he has to tell you what to play, how to play it, then maybe you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
No, it's true. You know, so, I mean, that, for me at that point, it says all, you know, you're here for a reason. And he wants you to be here, so keep doing your thing. Don't worry about he got you covered. You know, he got your back. You know,
Yeah.
it's and until now, I mean, it's been more than what 15 years, but still, I mean, we know. I mean, James, right? How many times at the sound check we with Vinny, you know, we just look at each other. You know, we finish. This is sound check, and we just like he's playing. I mean, he's playing like this is the last time. I mean, that's Herbie. It's like when he sit on the piano, that's it. It doesn't matter, bro. It's like this is the last time. That's the feel I get, you know.
No,
Every time, every single time, and the music, he just keep going, man. The sound check. Sometimes I feel like sound check were the best moment.
yeah, no, it is,
Damn.
especially if it's been a time where we're off, even like if we're off for 2 days, or if we're starting the tour, or if you know it just because he's warming up to that point, or it's just it's just getting back to that familiarity of like, you know, what's going on and playing music and kind of fellowshipping and just man, we enjoy it, and it's like he's enjoying it too. And
Yeah, I mean,
and I was telling you know, some of the tech guys, I was like, man, you need to have that record button on
all the time.
when we're doing a sound check. Have the record button on, because it could be some amazing stuff that, you know, the gig might be just as amazing, but you know, those sound check moments can be oof.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not like okay, let's do a quick sound check. Can you hear the piano? Can you hear the bass? Okay, let's go. No, man, we play, we go for it. And when you have a leader who's really going for it, what you're gonna do? You have to follow and try to hang there, because he's just going for it, man. I mean, the man is I don't know. He's definitely from another planet. I don't know. It's unbelievable what's come out when he sits on the piano every time, and completely different. I don't know, 1 second ago, it's just brand new, fresh. I mean, we played this tune yesterday, but
Right.
nothing close to it. I mean, it's like how he's and listening, big ears, connect to the band, music just taking different shapes, like going deeper. Nobody's holding back. That's the other thing, you know. It's going to the unknown zone. There's no comfort zone, you know?
Right.
And that's where's the beauty, I think.
Wow. Well, I know folks have been tuned in here. I've been watching you with that guitar in your hands. Speaking of playing, yeah. Why you choose a selection you'd like to play? You have obviously this great, amazing new HH release out. So just if you want to give a little info about what you want to play and
let me
share something.
Maybe I play a Butterfly. That should be a good one.
Great tune. Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
Sorry, it was long. Yeah,
No,
just
not long enough.
go for it.
I'm sorry it wasn't longer. No.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Thank
Oh
you.
my God. I mean, that's
Thank you.
incredible. Yeah, I mean, your whole orchestra, all when you play like that. Oh my God. And I bet that's,
Thank you.
now is that stylistically similar to what I mean, I know not the song, and maybe you've added different elements and obviously, and have grown as a musician over time, but when you first auditioned in front of Herbie and then when you played, were you similarly playing that in that finger style way and incorporating, you have such a unique voice on the instrument that really comes and brings in your upbringing. I feel like, you know, your African heritage and everything, and brings that into the music in a way, which is of course a big part of what jazz is to begin with, but in the way that you bring it in the flavors and all the rhythms from there in a unique way.
Yeah, thank you. Definitely, that was part of. I remember the footprints I played with in front of them. You know, I remember I don't know, I was going for it. I was going crazy. You know.
Yeah.
I remember I was singing. I was like.
Are you singing too then?
Yeah, but you know, I didn't
yeah.
have mic. I just like, I don't know, just
right.
calling ancestors to help me out here. You know, I don't know. I remember I was definitely on the guitar doing some African stuff like something like that. So I went crazy, man. I was just. I was like, that's, you know, how many times you gonna play in front of those guys? So I'm just gonna give everything I have from my heart, and
yeah, no, because
that was it.
I mean, I just think, regardless, I've had the good fortune to hear you many times, including many times at Jazz Standard itself.
My favorite place.
Yeah, thank you.
Love that place.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter how many times I've heard you on record or seen you live. Yeah, your approach, and it's always sounds so fresh and unique, and always blows me away. So
thanks, man. I have to say,
now I'm grateful that we were able to share that with the folks.
Thank you.
Here.
I learned that from the cats, man. I mean, from James, Herbie, you know. Vinny, I mean, because this is what we do every night. Just go for it. I mean, the only way to discover is by trying, right? If you don't try, you don't discover.
Right.
If you play safe, if you you know, because you know, we all have our language, right? We all have things that we know how it's gonna come out because we work it out and we practice those things. But all those things has to be kind of out behind you, because so you can serve the music in the best way, with a fresh ear and open ear to accept whatever is happening around you. You know, I think that's what we do. So
yeah, for sure.
you're not gonna be happy at 100%, or maybe you will be. You never know, but at least you're trying something different, you know.
But also within the band is to know you have the freedom to explore, and to know that you'll have that support, you know.
Yes.
Because I mean, you know, like minds in music and like minds in general, you know that, you know, we're there to, you know, to take it to another level, to explore different things, and sometimes it doesn't always work out, and sometimes those things that we don't work out, maybe that opens up another door, that opens up something else. So I always like that, because it's funny. It's like you can take that concept and try with other people, and sometimes it just doesn't work. And
Most of the time.
Out of your level.
and you feel that weight of trying to let me bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You feel alone. You know, yeah. Really? You know? Yeah, I mean, and it's all about listening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're listening, the music tell you what to do, not what you want to do. You know, so you know, this is for me I mean, gets a little weird when it comes to jazz, because this music is about what, improvisation, right? Sharing, and then you playing this music sometime, and people, I mean, the person improvising just in his own bubble. It's almost like, I mean, maybe I can play wrong chords. He won't even care really, because he's so into his thing, playing, doing his thing.
Right.
You know? And then I'm like, where is the sharing, the improvisation part of what we do? I mean, if that's not the reason we do it, then you know, you might as well just play by yourself if you're not gonna listen to anybody else playing with you. I mean, you know. So,
well, the best jazz, you know, I had Regina Carter on, and her latest record is called Swing States Harmony in the Battleground, I think is the correct title. But yeah, what you're talking about is definitely, I always think of jazz and a great jazz band is like a great reflection of democracy, and that's what you're talking about, how Herbie's band is. It sounds like, in spite of, you know, he's not dictating, he wants you there for what you add to it, and he's giving you everyone's space to add to, and it's in the best possible sense. It's a real democracy in action, so to speak, on the bandstand every night, I guess.
Yeah, and he's supporting. I mean, he's really supporting whatever we do. You know, he's really supporting, and at the same time, you know, I always said there's playing with Herbie. For me, it's two things. It's very easy because whatever you play, he's gonna find, I don't know, rhythmically or the voicing or the chord to support it, and it's gonna sound great. So that's the easy part. It's hard in a way that it's not because, okay, it's F minor, that's, you know, you're gonna jump in and play that F minor, you know, because Herbie, where he's coming from, maybe he's not landing on that F. So if you have to, again, listen and because if you start locking him in that F minor, he's gonna go with you, but you kind of breaking him down from his flying, you know what I mean? So be able to let him, give him that space and supporting, you know, because that's what he does for us, you know. He play this chord and you answer. He play this one. It's like, oh shit! And now I'm, you know, we up there, and you might be dropping from, you might be hurting yourself quickly, or when you coming down, he's under and hold you like, I got you, you know. So it's again about listening.
Do you see him? Does he often surprise himself? Still, do you catch him where you know he's surprised himself with what he's done or come up with on that night, or as a group together? Obviously, you surprise yourselves and come up with something because he inspires. You know, he takes it somewhere, and there are certain nights that are just like everything's great all the time, but then there are certain nights that you say are just like go to some whole other zone, and
it's every night. with him, you know. I mean, he might tell you, you know, maybe, you know, it's we all human, and he might say, oh, I don't know tonight, but man, for me it's every night, you know. And surprise, he's surprised. I mean, I think he lives in that world of surprising himself all the time.
Mm.
You know, that's the unknown zone, and he loves that. So he's encouraging us to do that. You know, and especially when he's playing a ballad, you see him sometimes. He's playing a ballad or he's playing something, and he's like. That's a lot. That's sign
Right.
of, oh,
Yeah.
you know, what is this? You know, how gonna get out? How gonna, you know? So to get to that zone, you gotta try. You know, he's going there. It's like, oh, yeah.
You know what? You know what I enjoyed. Sorry to interrupt, but you
No.
know what I enjoyed. That first tour that I did with you guys, the first tour we did with that band that was a one-time band with Terrence, Moore, and
Kendrick.
Kendrick.
Yeah.
When he did the solo piano,
Oh man.
and Seth. So every night he would do like a solo piano. What would he do? It kind of was Maiden Voyage, but it was kind of
Maiden Voyage.
And every night, man, it just went to so many. It was just like a lesson in everything.
Man.
And it was like, it was amazing to be playing with him on the stage and the musicians and the music that was going on. But I think everyone in the band just kind of looked forward to when he did that, his solo.
Exactly.
We'd get on the side of the stage and just sit and take the lesson, you know?
Right.
And how to walk back on stage after.
Yeah.
You walk back on stage like, man, really? How to play after that?
Right.
You know? And I did another tour with him and Wayne. It was like that too. And in the middle of set, they just play by them, you know, the duo, man.
Duo, yeah. Amazing. Wow.
After, you know, when the band comes back, you don't want to play, really. I mean, I want to play, but it's just like, what can I say? You know, you're still in that
processing what you just heard and want to soak that in more.
Yeah.
So if we could talk a little bit about too, like what it's like. I mean, we have been talking about being on the road, but what's it like? You know, obviously, and James and I talked about this, I think, a little earlier, not on this program yet, but about, you know, the highs and lows and being on the road and just the experience of he's had so much, he's been on the road so much, and yet he's still, you know, he loves doing it, so he's still going out and doing it, and has and despite that, obviously he's Herbie Hancock, but at the same time still have to face all kinds of different situations regardless of when you're on the road of dealing with things. And he comes across, I know about, you know, his somewhat about his, from reading his autobiography too, which I highly recommend. You know, he's very serious about his Buddhism and studies and chanting, and is, you know, so is he always Zen on the road? I mean, that's so hard to be that way, but I don't want to, I'm not asking you to divulge anything that he would be upset about. I'm just saying, like, have you learned a lot from just being on the road with him, even off the bandstand? And
I would say this, that it doesn't even get into, you know, like, is he like, you know, proper etiquette or Zen all the time. We have been on the road, and you know, sometimes we have some long trips, and some of the trips, I remember one of the trips, that first tour I did with him, it could have been 20-something hours, right, Lionel?
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, I mean, it was a lesson, and I don't know if it's humility, but just also in like, this man that I'm on tour with is like, you know, he's the upper echelon. He's a legend. If anyone deserves the right to say, all right, guys, you take the bus, I'm flying. You know, I'm flying, and I'll meet you there, you know? And he's right in the mix with us on a 20-something hour bus ride, like as if he was 20-something years old, you know, just along for the ride, enjoying it, being a part of the band. being in it with you, not removing himself from it. Because, there are a lot of musicians that do that. And it's just kind of like, I'm not doing that. You guys can do that. I'll meet you there. Or, just.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or I stay in this hotel, sorry.
Yeah.
You guys
I
stay in
this hotel. Right. You guys stay in that hotel.
Right. He's earned the right to do that. If he wants
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Earn the right to do that, earn the right to have an attitude. But he does not do that. And I think that shows me the Zen and the temperament and the Buddhist, likeness and quality that he has and shows us. And, I've definitely learned that, because I'm like, how can I, not that I did or do, but I was like, how can I sit here and, look down or complain about what's going on when the master himself is right in the mix with us and is not doing it. So, I think I can go with that.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, we chant. I've been chanting for years. James chants too. We chant with him. I started chanting with him because, I wanted to go deeper, understand.
Right.
And I found unbelievable, like how you get free help and be positive and and think positive. I studied for musical reason. I just want and then I learned so much from it. That's like he said. Music is just what we do. Music is not who we are. We are human being first. We are musician. Somebody is a doctor. That's what you do. That's not who you are.
Right.
So if you can be a better person, a good human being, whatever you do will come through that, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And that, from that point, it changed a lot for me, to approach life differently. And he just, I'll give you another example. I remember we were somewhere, I think Australia or Japan, I don't know, one of those long flights, and we get there, and I mean, he has his car, there's a limousine waiting for. I mean, he can just say, "Okay, guys, I see you tomorrow at the sound check or whatever." Man, that was one of the first gigs. He waited for the last person to get his bag. I mean, this is I don't know many people in this business at that level or higher who will do that. You know what I mean? He waited until the last person get his bag, because the driver was like, "Okay, sir, we can go." It's like, no, let's wait.
Right.
So he's like a father. He's not just.
Yeah.
He doesn't make any difference. He's not. It's not like okay. These are musicians. These are the tech guys. These are no. Everybody get the same treatment. And that's. For me, says a lot.
Well, that probably leads to such camaraderie on the bands and like a comfort and how you feel like you're playing. I mean, in some ways, because he's like, on such a pedestal as a musician. I'm saying you, the general you, as any musician who thinks of Herbie, sees him like up here. Like this immortal kind of as a musician, and everybody else is immortal. I mean, Wayne, like, the other greats too, like Wayne Shorter, Miles, and everything, they're like on this other plane. But in that way, I maybe that's who he is and what he wants to do. From what you're saying, obviously that's his choice for sure. But there's something maybe that just he's so welcoming and makes you comfortable then being with him. And he wants to, and likewise he wants to, I guess, not be treated. He doesn't want to be treated differently. He doesn't want you to treat him like he's on that he wants to be one of the guys with you on the road and share in that experience too. I take it.
Oh yeah, and he's always listening. He's super humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no, if there's a food for not enough for everybody, he will make sure that might say, okay, oh yeah, the tech guys hasn't eat yet, so he take care of. It's not like, I don't know, man. He's not thinking about himself.
Right. Right. Which is
He's,
very refreshing.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
that one
right
tour.
Yeah.
You remember that one tour where none of my equipment or my luggage showed up for?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
But he was concerned about it. He was making sure that the road manager and the people were on it to make sure that they could find my luggage, and ask me every day, and of course my luggage never showed up. But
yeah, it was waiting for you.
It was waiting for me back here in Queens.
Oh wow!
Like in some storage. It was just sitting in this. We started this tour, and from the time we left, none of my stuff showed up. I think only my bass showed up, and that was it.
Wow.
My luggage.
Yeah.
But so, is there any ritual surrounding before you perform with Herbie on the road or publicly? Is there like a pre-show thing he always likes to do ahead of time?
Well, he always chants, and
that's
you join if you want to.
Right.
And we, I like James too. Terrace Martin. We join and we chant.
Right.
With him, so that kind of chanting with him, just that is powerful.
Yeah.
It is powerful.
Wow.
And you get on stage, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like 4 guys, 1 mind kind of setup. It's
really amazing.
Yeah.
And how long when you do that typically? How long are you doing that for?
We
pre-show.
Yeah, we don't do it too long. Most of the time, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
15
well, still,
yeah.
But before he's doing it like
We're just jumping on
1 hour before we show up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Does he like to arrive pretty early to his pre-stage? And when you say he's doing that beforehand, is that you guys all kind of arrive together usually when you're
that's the other thing. He's not doing like, okay, you guys go to the sound check and see you at the gig. No,
right.
There, he's coming. We live together. We come together. We live together. So
right.
And he's chanting, I don't know, at least 3 times a day, and then 15, 20 minutes before the concert we first. Yeah.
Is that the secret? Is that the secret to Wayne and the fountain of youth, that like Herbie doesn't age, Wayne's still so vibrant, and
I'm sure it's a big part of it. Because they think that way, like young and fresh, and just think about Herbie. He knows when it comes to technology more than all of us.
Yeah,
he's been around way more than us. You know what I mean? So he still know about the last software of the, and when they all chant, it seems to me like put them in a mindset of of like kids, you know,
Mhm.
which is I mean, the best, in my opinion, the best goal, because kids, um, they think positive, you
Yeah.
know.
Child's
And
play.
just
Yeah, that's
exactly,
the song. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you both have young children, I
Oh
know,
well,
so you get to experience all
man.
sides of that.
Yeah.
Child's play, yeah.
Child's
But
play.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Lionel, how about you up for another sharing another
Yeah,
track
yeah, I think I'm gonna play
selection?
this is from the HH album. This is one of the composition I wrote for Mr. Herbie Hancock. It's called HH.
Great.
Oops. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Have you shared the album with Herbie? Did you tell him about that you were planning on doing this first? And
Yes, I did actually. As I had the idea, I said, "Well, you know what? I need to let him know."
Yeah.
And you know, and get his benediction.
Right.
You know.
His blessing. Yeah.
His blessing.
Yeah.
You know. And yeah, he, that's Herbie. Yeah, oh man, I'll be honored. I said, no, I will be honored.
Right. Right.
And when I finish it, after I recorded, yeah, he was the first person I sent the music to as well, and he likes it, he said, could I kind of took his tunes to another direction.
Yeah.
And that was the whole point for me, because I mean, we all love the classics, so I wasn't trying to do anything better, or was just something that I wanted to play those tunes, those songs like I wish I wrote them. What could I bring?
Yeah.
And plus the solo. I mean, those tunes are hard enough. But for a solo, it's a double challenge. It was a good challenge for me to find a way to play them, actually to choose which one, and then to find a way to how I can take them to different directions.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I think you've very much succeeded, and then some. Because
thank you.
You totally, no matter how many times you've heard something like Cantaloupe Island in a song, you've brought something new to that. So I'm sure that no doubt makes Herbie proud. Like you say, he's like a father figure, and so on, and like a proud father after hearing your interpretations of it, I'm sure, and hearing you guys what you have to bring to the bandstand each night, and how there's it's like the cycle of life. It continues on. He's passing it down. Yeah, you guys are passing it down as leaders in projects as well. James, I know you're busy, obviously nobody's super busy right now in the pandemic, but you are actually quite busy as a musician still, thankfully, because of your association with Saturday Night Live. Aside from that, obviously, or what are some projects you have recording? Were you doing any recording projects currently in the pandemic? I mean, or is there stuff that you're able to do still, or is it everything on hiatus?
Kind of on hiatus. People have been sending me tracks to put bass on. Doing that at home. Been doing some writing in like the pop field, and been kind of working on that with various writers, and with the home life and trying to find time from that and music, and then with SNL back, and getting tested, because I think with SNL we're getting tested twice a week. But yeah, so doing that and trying to stay safe, because some people are going out and some people are staying home, and I'm one of the ones that's going out, so trying to like stay safe within that.
Yes.
But personal projects, are mostly like I said, doing writing like pop tunes and stuff like that.
Right.
And still in my head it's not in my head, but ideas for my personal project. And
Yes.
We want that. Yeah, we're waiting for that for sure.
We are waiting
Hear
for that for years.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
So I know, unfortunately, I know we're running out of time. You guys have been so generous with your time today. I know, unfortunately, Herbie, there was a huge tour. You guys mentioned that Herbie was supposed to do in celebration of a milestone birthday, his 80th birthday, that was derailed by the pandemic, unfortunately. But I hope we all do get to hear you guys and on your projects live, and with Herbie, of course, too, live, and sooner than later that we can get past this.
I'm missing it. Yeah, it's
right.
like a void in my life right now.
Man.
Yeah. I can only yeah. I mean, you're usually on the road more nights out of the year than you're home, probably, generally speaking. So this has really been a different experience for all such busy touring musicians. But on the flip side, I guess you've been able to spend some time at home with some more time at home with family, in a way right. that's special in itself, especially thinking of that now, because we're doing this just a couple days before Thanksgiving. So I want to wish everybody a safe, firstly, safe and happy Thanksgiving, of course. Mm-hmm. But thank you again so much for both taking time out and sharing your stories. I wish this could be a series, because there's so much more that I would love to get to about Herbie and working with him, and also more about what you guys have learned from him. So maybe we'll have to get to a part 2 at some point. And then some. But so yeah, thank you so much. And again, Lionel has this beautiful new recording out on Edition Records called HH. And of course, he has a whole body of work prior to that as well. But do pick up a copy of HH, and hopefully, again, I'm sure you had a touring and gigs planned around the release of this too that you think to do. I know one of them was going to be at the Jazz Standard too. Yeah, unfortunately, that we didn't get to do yet. But James, you'll be able to catch James hopefully soon. Obviously, you could tune in on Saturday nights and hear him, of course, with the band, with amazing musical guests every Saturday night. When does the season go till? Actually, I forget how.
It goes till May. It's like school. It's like from end of September or October till May.
Oh wow! Okay.
We did this season, because of the election. We did like 6 shows in a row, and then we broke after the election. Mm-hmm. So we're off for the rest of the.
I think we all did break. I think we all broke to some extent. We're still breaking. We're still trying to deal with that, but we won't go there.
It's not over.
Yeah, we're still trying to fix. We're hoping the elections are supposed to fix everything. Yes. Okay.
That's the that's the next time, next volume 2 we can.
Yeah, we have volume 2. I know, but things will correct themselves, as we say. Okay. Leave it at that. Okay. Yeah. So catch James on SNL. Catch Lionel on his latest release. Yeah, latest release. But yeah, check out the website, because you guys will probably be doing other things virtually that your fans can catch and see, because that's what we've. At least we have that, which I'll take. That's certainly better than nothing. Being able to share things virtually, and it's changed, and I think that opens up some new doors. Even when guys get back on and touring and stuff, that the virtual component maybe can remain a part of things to some extent when you're playing places that audiences that people can't necessarily get to. That can be a both and situation for certain gigs, I guess, where maybe people can also buy tickets and tune in virtually, perhaps in the future. So we'll see. But thanks again so much.
Thank
for
you,
taking
Seth.
part of this.
Thanks for
I
having
want to
us.
thank again our co-presenters, Jazz Standard and New Jersey Performing Arts Center, and TD Bank for their support of this jazz series. And believe it or not, Jens, the person we were talking about, our next program, which will be on December 1st, that we look forward to you joining us for, will be about Wayne, none other than Wayne Shorter, and a discussion we'll have with Danilo Perez and John Patucci and Brian Blade, talking about Wayne and their experience with Wayne Shorter. So I think those it's very fitting to go from Herbie to Wayne back to back for sure. So thanks again, and stay safe, guys, and hope to see you in person soon.
See you soon. Huh?
All right. Good night.
Bye, bro.
Bye. Ciao.
I was there.
You were there. That's right.
Thank you again. Good night.
All right, Bye. Goodbye.